Even the best laid plans sometimes go off track, and mine are no exception. Now into the first few days of March, and this here is my seed sowing for February. I'm way behind. So the plan right away now, the weather keeps changing. We have a sunny day, then rain comes in. So as long as the first week of March, my plan is to get all February sowing done. Hopefully your onions will have germinated quite well. These have gone way past the stage when they should have been pricked out, but nevertheless, now we'll start potting them on. This is a general multi-purpose compost. This is clover compost that I use, and I've added a little bit of vermiculite just to add a bit of air into the soil, and also retains extra moisture. We start off just lightly filling the pot with the compost. Don't press it down at this stage, but do give it a tap, as this settles the compost and fills any air pockets. And then just do a little slight depression with your finger there, then you'll get the seedling. And I'll show it. This there is way past its potting on stage, got a good root, but it's also joined its second leaf, as you can see there. Really you want the leaf when it's just got that stage there, that's called the crook stage, and that's when you should be potting out, before the second leaf's formed. But not to worry, so we'll carry on now. Pot this on, just pop that down into the soil, fill the edges round there, pot it, get all the air pockets out, and I'll pot the rest on, and then we'll see about getting some water onto them. So with them all potted up now, I've put them in the tray just for convenience of transporting and that. I've numbered the pots up with my usual numbering system, and now it's time to water them in. Can't emphasize enough, with onions especially, water from below, because I fell once of watering from the top and had a huge number of them damp off. They just rot at the base and drop off, and that's it then, all gone. So the way I do it, I put them in a tray of water which I keep in the greenhouse. I always keep this topped up, because then the water is always at the ambient temperature of the greenhouse and it doesn't shock the plants so much. So we'll just now pop them into the tank here. They'll stop in there, and just keep an eye out now for the surface of the soil to change colour, and once you know that, then you know that the water has risen up, then you can take them out and let them grow on. Now that they're watered in, I've just put them inside the heated sandbox. Put them in here to 3 or 4 days just to get the roots settled again, and once I can see they've picked up, I'll be putting them out in the greenhouse to slowly harden them off. Seeds I'm going to be starting off with are these, which are Zabroon shallots. They're known as a family of what they call banana shallots due to the elongated shape. Really good flavour, but most importantly for me, they store very well as well. So the way I normally start them off, I go into these cell trays. This is a 40 cell tray. I've already labelled it up there, as you can see. And this is the seed and cutting compost that I'll be starting off with. This is the clover variety I'm using at the moment. And so we just start off by lightly filling a tray, and then we can settle it down before we start about sowing the seeds on the top. So with that, I'll just knock the surface off the top with my little tampon pad there. If I go any further, I'll be putting it into this seed tray. Just makes it a little bit more stable. So they're quite flimsy, these small cell trays are. Now all I'll do now is make a slight depression in the top of each one. I'll be using my normal method of sowing seeds. which is the folded card, and also the piece of wood spatula. And what I do, I normally sow just one seed into each depression. Some people sow 2 or 3, but I find doing it this way, you actually don't disturb the seed when you do pop them on. So you might get 1 or 2 misfires, but I'll be sowing 2 trays of these anyway, so I only need probably 50 or 60 at the most. So any surplus then I'll be able to give away to anybody that wants them. All that's left for now is to give these a light covering with fine vermiculite. I find this better than actually putting the soil over the top. And once I've done all this, I'll then be giving it a soak in the watering tray as usual, and then I'll pop it into the hot box or sand bed and leave it in there until they start showing. I'm now going to be sowing some spring onions. In this case, this is what they call a Japanese bunching onion, and the variety is called Ishikura. The normal spring onion that I grow is one called White Lisbon, but the sowing and cultivating and harvesting methods are exactly the same. First we start off with these little modular cell trays. I do these in groups, bunches. There's 12 in here at the moment, and I'll do a bit of successional sowing later on. As these go out into the beds, I'll be sowing some more. So this is just normal seed and cutting compost. This is the clover stuff I'm using, and as usual, lightly fill the pockets, give them a tamp to fill the holes in, and just gently wipe across the top to remove any excess soil. That done, then just do a light depression with your finger down into each one. I've got the seeds here. What I normally do is try to get about 8 or 10 seeds and just pop them all together into the one planting hole. Not be too particular. The big bonus of this method is that you harvest them, plant them out together like this, then harvest them as a bunch, just like you would buy in the supermarket. So I find this method works very quickly. You do not disturb them much, and you get a good reward with a nice bunch of onions. All we need to then is just to give them a light covering with vermiculite, and then we finish them off with a soaking from beneath. Put them in the propagator, and hopefully they'll reward us with some lovely onions. A few weeks ago, you may recall the harvesting of the sour palmyra crop. Well, I've been in here now at the greenhouse for possibly 2 weeks, dried out lovely. What I'm just going to do, I've got a nice soft brush here, just give it a light dusting over just to take any excess soil off. And I'm going to pop them into this bag, and then I'm going to be storing them in the shed in the dark, cool and dry. While we're in the greenhouse on the allotment, I'll just give you a quick update here. These are the shallots, and as you can see, them are roaring along now. Might give them a drop of water because I haven't watered them for a good while. The soil looks as though it's bone dry. But that was a bit late firing up, but they've all gone now, so we're all looking good on there. These are the sweet peas, and this is a bit of a trial I'll be doing. These were sown in autumn. Again, all fired up. I'll be sowing some more sweet peas in the next week or so. So it'll be interesting to see how they compare against each other regarding growth and that, and really is it worth sowing in the autumn. And the last thing we've got in here, just moving around, is these are the winter density lettuce. Fantastic they're doing, and I think they'll be going out in the bowl. Once I've cleared some space in here, I've still got a lot of stuff to clear out. There's still buckets with composting and that. But once I've done the potatoes, I might have a little clear up in here and see if we can get those out into the borders. I've had a little change round in the greenhouse. And I've bought my potatoes, chitin potatoes in. And so these first ones here, the Swift, the first earlies. The chits are really nice on there, dark colour, just right. They'll be going into the buckets within probably at least week, 2 weeks maximum. Next one is the SHALLOT, second earlies. Another one there, SHALLOT. And more there, SHALLOT. I think these are Sarpows in the half tray there at the front, and more SHALLOT at the back. And more Sarpows there. Well, I was having to shuffle around in the greenhouse here, I realised that looking at the shallots, they've put quite a bit of growth on. Well, this time last year, a similar thing happened, and they stayed in the greenhouse a bit too long, and consequently, they was a bit leggy when I put them out. So in an attempt to slow them down, I'm going to get the new coal frame into action. A slightly cooler temperature will slow down the growth, hopefully, and that'll do me just fine. I'm going to sow some mixed salad leaf, the cut and come again lettuce. I've got about 6 varieties here. Rather than doing separate sowings, what I'm going to do is get all the seeds together, mix them all together in one packet, and then we'll broadcast the seed, so it'll be a bit of a lucky dip when you cut the lettuce, knowing what you're going to get. Let's have a quick look what we've got there. This is one of the Wilco's mixed salad leaves there. Then we've got, this is Unwin's, again mixed salad leaves. Across there on the end, it's mixed spicy salad leaves from Wilco. Another one here, just mixed salad leaf Wilco. A Thompson and Morgan, the ultimate mix. And last but not least, Mr. Fothergill. And that one there is a salad bowl, red and green mixed. So they'll be all mixed together and broadcast onto the seed tray. I'll be sowing into this tray here. This is a cat litter tray. If you look, it's a bit deeper than the conventional seed tray, and also there's no drainage in it as well. I've got the label on already. I'm just going to pop it down now, and this is just normal Clover multi-purpose compost, which is going in here. Probably do it just over halfway filling. So this is a method that I first saw done by another YouTuber, Mike Radish, and he had marvellous crops throughout the season. And I did it myself last year and was very pleased with the outcome, so why not repeat it? So with the compost in, just roughly level the surface down there. It's got me little tamping board here. It's probably got a bit too much soil than I actually put in, but we'll get it level, somewhere level. Lightly tamp it down. And before I actually sow the seeds, what I usually do is just dampen the surface. Although this soil, the compost, is a bit moist, just to be 100% sure. Just get the little what's it, and so just dampen it, so that when the seed hits the soil, you know there's going to be moist. So as you can see from this seed mixture there, it's a quite varied mix. So as we be eating this, it'll be a sort of a Russian roulette, whether we're spicy or not. So I'm just going to do that now, is lightly broadcast this over the surface. It's going out both ways, but oh dear. So if you haven't tried this method, I can highly recommend it. And so this is thanks to Mike Radish, another YouTuber. He's been doing it a good number of years now and gets some fantastic crops. And you can get, I think last year I got about 4 or 5 different cuts of it before it was exhausted. But all I'll do then is get another tray going. Once this comes to harvesting size, I'll sow another tray, so we've more or less got a continuous supply to last us throughout the year. What's left now is to get just a very fine covering. That's all you need. I mean, you could use vermiculite with this, but I've got quite a lot of soil out here, so I'll just use that. Just That's it. Give it a gentle covering. Keep going until you can't see no more seed. So what I've done now I've got the top layer of soil on, so give it a light soaking, just to damp it down a bit. Now salad doesn't like, well lettuce in particular, doesn't like too high a temperature to germinate. I think something above 15-16 degrees and it clouds it down. So what I'm going to do with this is, now it's been sowed, is to pop the tray into the greenhouse on the allotment and leave it to do its own device there. I might put a bit of glass over the top of a night time, but that's about it. I'll just give it a little tamp down there just to make sure the top surface of this compost is in contact with the seed, and that's it as far as it goes. Another one done. With the sowing now in full swing, I continue to sow some radish. In this case the variety was my favourite, French Breakfast 3. Normally I sow directly into the beds, but since it was still cool, unsettled weather, I decided to sow in a polystyrene box. I cut it down to reduce the height and filled it with 6 inches of multi-purpose compost. Then I created 4 small drills to broadcast the seeds. The box was placed in the allotment car frame just to offer it a bit of protection. Some flower seeds were next. In this case it was dwarf French marigolds and cosmos. I mixed a number of different marigold seed packets together before the sowing, and I also created a variety mix with a few different packets of cosmos. Both of these were sown in quarter-size seed trays using multi-purpose compost. I lightly covered them with the same sieve soil and then gave them a soaking in the water tray. Then I transferred them into the heated propagator in the greenhouse. Now here are a few jobs that you may wish to consider for the month of March. March is a busy month where seed sowing gets into top gear, but I'd hold back on parsnips for direct sowing until at least April. The planting of early potatoes can now begin. Traditionally this is done on St Patrick's Day, the 17th of March. You can get a head start by planting in buckets, keeping them indoors or in the greenhouse. Or if you want to plant directly into the beds, I usually cover the soil for a few weeks with dark heavy duty plastic, and this warms the soil up. And then after planting out the tubers, recover the beds with the dark plastic for a few weeks until the first signs of growth appear, and then take it off completely. Whilst you're doing your planting and sowing plan for the beds, now's a good time to consider to practice crop rotation. This reduces the risk of infection to the new crops from any pests remaining in the soil from the previous year. If you still have any overwintering onions in the soil, now's a good time to apply a high nitrogen feed such as pelleted chicken manure, sulphate of ammonia or a liquid nettle tea. This will encourage stronger leaf growth, which in turn will help produce a larger bulb. For those planning a new asparagus bed, now is an ideal time to plant out the crowns. Make sure that the bed is weed free and has well drained soil, as this could be their home for the next 20 years. And remember to plant the crowns across the ridge of soil. It's worth taking a look at the greenhouse glass and give it a clean if required. It's amazing how much light can be gained by doing this. Well, as you saw there, the first week of March proved to be quite productive. I'm more or less back on track now with the February sowings. I say more or less, I'm still not sowing the brassicas yet, and that was down to me. When I checked my seeds, I was missing the sprouts that I wanted to grow this year. I'm going to grow a variety called Crispus, which is a club root resistant variety. I thought I'd give them a try. A couple on our site grew them last year and had a great crop, so that's for this year. While I was ordering the seeds, I also ordered my heat treated onion sets. These are these 3 varieties: Fen Early, Red Fen and Rumba, and they'll be going in, starting them off in cell trays very shortly actually. Lovely flavour, not very big size, but they keep well and lovely flavour. I don't know if I can pop a picture up here somewhere. So that's that done. The other thing I'll be doing now next month, well, say next month, it's March, I've got to start the seed sowing for the March plans. Early potatoes, I'll be going into the buckets, and if the weather plays ball with us, we might even get a plot too for March as well. So that's it for now. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.